The Big Call with Bruce, Thursday, February 1st, 2018, Intel only. Transcript on iqdcalls.com. Welcome everybody to the Big Call tonight. Let's talk about where we are and what we are anticipating. Let's take a look at Iraq. Iraq has been given the go-ahead by our Treasury to release their rates for well over a week now. So far there have been some internal changes to the rate. There have been some things done at their banks like lower denominations, pictures put on their websites, the CBI website. They have had large blown-up version of the 1 dinar note to put in the windows of banks to familiarize the people of the lower denominations. They talked about the 5 and 10 lower denominations. They have the lower denominations in the ATMs ready to go. Why haven't they gone? Why hasn't the rate been put out like we want it to be? I can't answer that. I do not know the why. For the life of me, I can't figure out why Iraq has not come through from what we understand. Now realize we don't get the entire story all the time. We get a lot of stuff and we piece things together the best we can. It looks like as they have had the go-ahead to get going. They have had so many businesses from so many countries come in and sort of sign tentative contracts, and then they have had those people come back to do new contracts at new rates. Then they had at Davos, Switzerland, a ton of business was going to come even out of Davos, but I don't think any of it will come through until the new rate is put out and can be inked into their contracts. Now my understanding was this rate for Iraq was supposed to show up by last night at 12 EST, or the United States might not be in position to do any more loans for Iraq or wouldn't be able to work with the IMF or with the World Bank with future loans until that rate was put out. It is like, okay guys, it is time to do it. You have had some time to do it. Admittedly, we held them back putting the rate out for so long. I do not know why it hasn't been put back out. We understand now as of today, more like early this afternoon, or at least by late morning, everything is in place ready to go. We were in the understanding last night that we would be ready to go today, February 1st. That just didn't happen. Our understanding is that the redemption centers are set and ready to go. That they are just waiting for a signal, a green light, so their staff members all across the country can assemble and be available to go to work. Once that happens, I am looking forward to receiving the toll-free number to put out so all can set their appointments and get started. In the last number of days rates have been on screens. We know yesterday in 21 different cities Wells Fargo and Chase were doing exchanges at regular, good screen, real rates. These are limited sporadic occasions in 21 sites. It was done so these banks can add liquidity. I know that was the case last week when Bank of America did that, and so did Fifth Third Bank did exchanges, but these are limited, like limited to 4 or 5 notes of dinar and dong limited. No Zim. We are not talking about Zim. They continue to do this and yet we haven't gone. We are looking forward to getting started. We really are. We are at the point now there was something we were waiting for to occur today. This came from someone at the redemption center that it needed to happen. Supposedly it did happen and it got handled, and now we are waiting for the green light to go and to get the number and get started. It is interesting today for the first time on the Bloomberg screens, the Iraqi dinar was there and seen at a very low rate, but was tradable for the first time on Bloomberg. That was new today. We do have this memo coming out tomorrow morning probably. I don't know exactly when. Nobody said what time. That could be significant in terms of timing. Actually, when it didn't come out this morning, I thought probably we didn't go either. There is something to it, maybe a slight diversion. I think we are all ready to get started. We are in the new tax plan that started effectively today and retroactive January 1st. President Trump did a wonderful job on his State of the Union speech. Excellent. There was some mention of new money, people having new money in February. I think some of that was talking about the tax plan and some of it was talking about us going and getting started. A lot was said about infrastructure. We talk a lot about infrastructure when it comes to rebuild America and rebuilding roads, bridges, homes, recreation centers, hospitals, schools, all those things we can be part of. I am sure all of us have thought, well, if the wall is set at $25 billion, it would not be a big deal for any one of us to pick up the tab for that. Many of us would be in position to help with infrastructure throughout this country. We said time and time again for months, we have told the administration who is listening to this call we plan to do this with Rebuild America and with the Veteran Retreat Network working with the veterans. The president in this speech couple of nights ago mentioned the idea of trade schools. Exactly like we said on the big call, getting trades going again with these trade schools, apprenticeships, partnerships, and mentorships. All these we can do and we have plans for it all. I know the government essentially took the idea I had in almost the same wording I had for Rebuild America and used it for Rebuild America Act. That is something they obviously have heard, and I don't care that they heard and used from the big call or not, but we are thinking along the same lines. That is the main thing, that we are thinking along the same lines. When it comes to rates came off the screens yesterday evening on some of the trading floors. I think they were getting ready for and making the adjustments they needed to make. To my knowledge, they were not rates seen widespread today. We just know what we know. We know some exchanges have been done, but we also know that total access of funds in some of these transactions that have already taken place have not been made available. Some funds have been made available, but not the large motherloads of the accounts. I think that is probably because it is sort of they are looking for us to go still on a shotgun start where the 800 numbers that I will get go out in conjunction with other groups or with people being paid. It could be that type of shotgun start we are still looking at. I heard for a long time it would be a daytime event. Whether it is day or night, I am available to get phone call to get the toll-free number and put it out at any time. Obviously to me daytime less disruptive and makes more sense, and early is fine. Early is fine because we can get things started. I just believe that we are at the point where there is nothing else needs to be done. We are at that point, I believe. I know the banks have it in their power to let this go. When ready, we need redemption centers to be notified, staff to be notified so they can go and assemble. I believe that is the green light that they are waiting for as well. I think we are about as close as we ever have been, but I do believe from what we understand, there is nothing else in the way. Let's see where this goes. Let's see what happens. I am excited to get started just like everybody else is. We plan to get moving. This may be our last call for quite a while. Let's hope it is. You are tired of listening to me as I am bringing this information Tuesday and Thursday for 7 years. I will do it until we have a reason not to. I appreciate your listening and faithfulness as Sue, Bob, and Pastor Stephen do, and we appreciate we are a community of believers and faithfulness for this blessing to come through. Thank you all for coming in. Thank you Sue, Bob, and Pastor Stephen. Thank you all who listens in Big Call Universe. We appreciate you. We appreciate the banks being prepared for us and the redemption centers being ready for us. I look forward getting the 800 number out to you guys and getting started. Thank you everybody for coming in. Transcript on iqdcalls.com.